What's up, YouTubers? It's Tahlequah89, and the voices in my head coming at you from the Duelist Den. And tonight, I'm rocking the video in my pajamas. But anyway, tonight's video, we are going to be going over the top 10 generic rank 4 XYZ monsters. So hit that intro.
Number 10 on the list is Tahlequah. Now, what makes Tahlequah so fucking amazing is that it gave you easy access to cards such as Castel Pleiades, which could then go into Castel M7, whatever his fucking name is. But it required just, 2 or more level 4 monsters, so it was a really easy generic monster. And then you could detach 3 materials to special summon a higher ranked XYZ monster using this card's material. So if you weren't able to get your abilities off to go into your level 5 or to get your monsters up to level 5 on the field, then you could still go into this card and use it to bring out your Pleiades and go into some really powerful plays and pretty much set it up to where you can bounce whatever your opponent puts out on the field. Number 9 on the list is number 101 Silent Honor Arc. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory as to why this card is on the field. It allows you to get over any of your opponent's special summon boss monsters that they had, and it also had a built-in protection effect as well. So even if you couldn't get, a monster that was on your opponent's field attached to this card, you could still prevent it from being destroyed twice per turn. So this is just, it was really one of the better of the cards. Almost every deck that could play rank 4s ran this for a very, very long time, right up until fucking Zodiacs came out, but that's a story for another day. But anyway, this is among one of the tops for the generic rank 4s just because it was so playable. It was splashed into pretty much anything, and people, some people anyway, lean toward playing decks that could spam rank 4s just so they could play this card. Number 8 is, of course, Abyss Dweller. Now, it's pretty obvious as to why this card is on this list. It goes in and out of play every couple formats since its release, and it was real big during the Lightsworn era. Then it kind of fell out of favor. Now we're moving into the Zodiac and the Draco era, and it's being run a whole lot more again. So, I mean, this card is really dependent on the format, whether or not you're using a lot of effects from the graveyard. But depending on the format, this card is really, really great, and a lot of, Zodiac builds will usually end the field with either a Trident or an Emeril or a Trident and an Abyss Dweller, depending on the deck that they're playing against. So you can see really, why this card is so great, because a lot of the graveyard effects that people use if this card is on the field are pretty much, shut down. And what's so great about it is, you can use this effect during either player's turn, and that's really why it's so powerful. Next up is, of course, Degosto Emeril. Emeril is a card, like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, you see a lot of in Zodiac builds, especially recently, but it allows you to, recycle your resources from your graveyard. That way you can, continue your plays and things like that. The secondary effect to target a non-effect monster in your graveyard and special summoning isn't really used a lot. But, it is still a very powerful card. And like I said earlier, most Zodiac builds, right now, will usually end the field with an Emeril on the field along with a Trident. And Zodiac isn't the only deck that can utilize this. As it is on this list, it is a generic rank 4, so, any level 4s can use it. And since it's released, it has been put in any deck that can span rank 4s, pretty much, with almost every card on this list. But just having a card that, allows you to recycle your resources from your graveyard, in addition to giving you a draw, it has to be one of the most powerful cards out there. Maybe not, in attack strength, but as far as its effect, it is one of the most powerful. Number 6 is, of course, Lebombo Chain. Now, you had to see this card coming up on this list. A card that lets you search your deck for any card and either send it to the deck to the graveyard, or choosing a monster from your deck and placing it on top of your deck. I mean, this card was just completely fucking broken, as it pretty much lets you get whatever you need, wherever you fucking needed it. Starting off the top 5 is Tornado Dragon. Now, it's pretty obvious why this card is on this list. Having the ability to have a generic card that can destroy spell or trap cards during either player's turn, and have a nice little body that your opponent has to get over, is just a pretty great card. And personally, I love the artwork on this card, to be honest with you. It's just, anyway. But the effect is, it's a simple effect, but it is a powerful effect. Number 4 is Castel the Skyblast Musketeer. Got tongue-tied there. But anyway, a lot of you may not agree with this decision, but I felt that it had to make the top 5 because Castel, although it was primarily used to bounce your opponent's cards, and yes, I did say cards, because you didn't just have to target monsters with this card, but you could also target your own cards if you needed to. Like, say your opponent, now when this card, was big, Phoenix Chain was kind of a big thing. Say somebody Phoenix Chained your monster. No, instead of bouncing that Phoenix Chain, giving them the ability to use it again later, you just bounce your own monster, giving you the ability to use your card later while your opponent has a dead Phoenix Chain on the field. So, having this card make top 5 was because, it has a lot more versatility than what most people did use it for. Number 3 has to go to 106 Giant Hand, merely because Giant Hand's effect, not only could you use it during either player's turn to negate your opponent's monster's effect, but it also locked that monster in the position that it was in when it used its effect. So if your opponent had an attack position monster on the field with weaker attack than some of your monsters, and they used that monster's effect and used 106 to negate it, then that monster was essentially locked in attack position and just an open target for whatever you wanted to put out on the field to attack over it. Number 2 is Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. Yeah, I think that might just be enough said for this card. Just kidding. Anyway, what made Exciton Knight so powerful is the effect. I'm going to read this word for word. Once per chain during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, if your opponent has more total cards in their hand and their side of the field than you do, you detach one material from this card, destroy all other cards on the field. Also, your opponent takes no further damage this turn, and this is a quick effect. Now, I'm not sure if it's the way that this card's effect is worded or what, but this card, what makes this card so powerful is, like, you could use Exciton Knight's effect. Then your opponent could chain a breakthrough skill to Exciton Knight's effect. And I guess the ruling is that Exciton Knight's effect, the first activation does not count as part of the chain or something like that. But in response to that breakthrough skill, you could chain Exciton Knight's effect again, and then the second chain link, or the chain link 3, which is Exciton using its effect a second time, would resolve first, and it would still go off. Now, personally, this is the one card in the game whose effect I have never completely understood, as, like, you have something, that can be used multiple times in a turn, so, and, your opponent activates breakthrough skill, but I don't know, it's confusing as all hell, the way this effect works. But essentially, if you use this effect, your opponent chains something that would stop the effect, you can still chain this effect again to that effect activation. So unless it ran out of materials and your opponent chained another time to negate the effect, the effect will still go off. It was really confusing card on sometimes, because you'd think you would activate something that would stop its effect outright, and then you turn around and it didn't. So, I mean, it was really super fucking powerful and completely broken and at times confusing. And I think that's why it was so fucking powerful, to be honest with you. Coming in at the number 1 spot is number 16, Shockmaster. Now, a lot of you may not agree with my decision to put Shockmaster above Exciton Knight, but hear me out. Okay, Exciton Knight was a card that was reactive. You had to wait for a certain condition to be met in order to use Exciton Knight. Shockmaster, on the other hand, you didn't have to wait for shit. Alright? If you knew what your opponent was running, Shockmaster shut them down. For example, if you were going up against spellbooks, well, you knew that all you had to do is put Shockmaster on the field and declare spells, and guess what? Spellbooks were shut down. If you're going up against Dragon Rulers, all you had to do was declare monster, and guess what? Dragon Rulers were shut the fuck down. Okay, it doesn't it doesn't matter what your opponent's running. As long as you knew what they were running, and you could usually tell early on what they were running, then you could just shut them down and just stop them dead in their tracks, and there would really be nothing that they could do about it.
Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments down there in the comment section below. And also, don't forget to check out the Facebook page, the Twitch page, the Twitter page, all of which will be linked in the description box. Also, make sure you go and support me on Patreon. Every cent of that Patreon will be going right back in to support the channel. Like right now, I need a new camera because I'm using a fucking webcam. I mean, the webcam is better than my phone, but, you know, still not as high quality as I would like. But it's also going to be going in to give me some better video editing software. Maybe maybe a new computer for or that's specifically designed for video editing, things like that. And then later on down the road, it's also going to be used for like pack giveaways, mat giveaways, things like that. Just everything I need for the channel, so I can give better content to you guys. Is what that Patreon is going to be going into. But until next time, this is Tahlequah and the voices in my head just wanted to say that Yu-Gi-Oh is not just a game. Yu-Gi-Oh is life.